welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I'm gonna be very late to the party and I'm finally gonna get around to filming the baby name tag. I wasn't tagged, as I seem to say with any tag video I do. I never get tagged, but I just love the questions in this video. I love talking about baby names. I could talk about baby names all day and all night. So yeah, I haven't done this one and I thought I would give it a go. If you haven't watched my other baby name videos, I will link them in the down bar. I've done maybe 3 name videos so far, but they were all pre-Wilf, so I hadn't told you his name then. So yeah, I thought I would give this one a go and I will get straight on with it and answer the questions. So I've just got them on my phone here, and question 1 is, what is your favourite boy and favourite girl's names from the top UK names list? So I've just gone and had a look at the most recent names list. It says 2015, but I've just found the most up-to-date list I could find, and I have gone for the girl's name, which is number 23, and that is Willow. I absolutely love the name Willow. If you've watched any of my baby name videos, I've mentioned this a few times before. I am a huge fan of the name Willow. I have been for years and years and years because I am the biggest Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan in the world, and obviously Willow Rosenberg is a character in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so I've loved that name for a very, very long time. It is super popular now, which would put me off using it in the future, but if it wasn't so popular it would definitely be one I would consider. I'm a big fan of the name Willow. And the boy's name I've picked is number 32 in the list, and it is super traditional, and that is Joseph. I absolutely love the name Joseph. It was one I considered for Wilf. I'm a big fan. The only thing that puts me off Joseph, and I don't know why I'm telling you a negative because this isn't baby names I love but won't be using, but I don't think I would use Joseph because I love the name, but I don't like anything it's shortened to. I don't really like the name Joe. I don't like Joey. I just really like Joseph. I like the traditional name Joseph. I don't know how many times I can say Joseph. But I really love the name Joseph. But I don't like Joe and I don't like Joey, so I don't think I would use it, but it is my favourite name on the list. And I would definitely consider using it as a middle name, although it has no relevance to me as a name, and I quite like middle names to have meaning. But I love the name Joseph. Question 2 is the opposite, and it is least favourite names from the list. So if your children are named this, or if you're named this, or anyone in your family or anything like that, please don't be offended. It's not that I actively dislike any of these names, they're just not what I would pick. They're not to my taste. So yeah. The girl's name I've picked is number 85 on the list, and that is Lacey. I'm just not a big fan. Lacey is a texture and I'm just not keen. I like either very traditional names, like almost like old people's names, or I like naturey sort of names, and Lacey is neither of those, and it's just not to my taste, to be honest. I'm just not a big fan. And the boy's name I've picked is number 33 on the list, and that is Adam. I don't know what it is about Adam. I think for me it is just I can't picture a baby Adam. It's very like of my generation, I think. There was like a lot of Adams at like school, and you meet a lot of people in kind of my age range called Adam, and I just can't picture a baby Adam. So I don't dislike it or anything, it's just not something I would ever pick personally. Question 3 is, if you had twins, what would you name them? Girl, girl, boy, boy, and boy, girl. I'm sorry if you've watched my other baby name videos and you've heard a lot of these names before, but this is what I would choose. If I was having girl twins, I would go for Primrose and Delilah. They are just my 2 favourite girls' names. I'm not fussed about, like, if I had twins, I wouldn't be like they've got to have the same letter of the name or anything. I'm not big on that. I don't dislike it, but I wouldn't deliberately try and do it. So I would have Primrose and Delilah. Primrose is my absolute number 1 girl's name. If Wilf was a girl, he would have been Primrose, and I'm a big fan of Delilah too. If it was boy twins, and I assume I can't really use Wilf, even though that obviously is my favourite boy's name, But if I had twins now, I would probably go for Franklin, which was the other kind of main contender for Wilf's name. I would have Franklin, and I would go for Joseph, as long as I could guarantee it would never be shortened, Franklin and Joseph. And if I had boy-girl twins, again, I'm not fussed about them having the same letters, so it would just be that I would pick my two favourites. So it would be Primrose and Franklin if I had boy-girl twins. Question 4 is, if you could change your name to anything, what would it be? And whilst Primrose is my favourite girl's name, I don't really think it's of my generation, so I don't know if I would pick that. I would never go so far as to change my name anyway. My name is pretty standard. I just go by Becca, but my name is Rebecca, which is obviously a very classic name, and there are lots of Rebeccas my age. It is a super popular name. I don't mind it. It's fine. It's not like my dream name, but it doesn't bother me. But I think if I could change it to anything, I would go for something like maybe like Lily. Obviously Abby, so my niece is called Lily. So I wouldn't go for Lily in that sense, but if I could have changed it back in the day, I probably would have liked to be called Lily. I feel like it's obviously really popular and really current now, and I just think it's such a pretty name, but you also do get quite a few Lilies of my age, but I think it's like really quite cool on someone of my age. So yeah, I would probably go for like Lily or something if I was going to change my name, but I would not go to that trouble. I am far too lazy for that. Question 5, you have 4 children, any gender, their first names all have to start with the same letter. What would their names be? So I think I would go for the letter P. Primrose is my favourite name, obviously, so I would go for Primrose, Penelope, Poppy, and either Percy for a boy, which is one of my friend's favourite names, and I do think it's super cute, so I would go for either Percy, or I quite like Posy for a girl, as in like a posy of flowers. But yeah, you couldn't really have a Primrose and a Posy, they sound very similar, but yeah, I would probably go for Primrose, Penelope, Poppy and Percy or Posy, I think. Question 6 is, what is your favourite animal inspired name? And I do like quite a lot of animal inspired names. As I said, I'm big into nature names, so I quite like animal inspired names. But the one that is probably my favourite, and I have heard quite a few people say this in this tag, is Wren. W-R-E-N, Wren. I really like that. I like it for a boy or I like it for a girl. I just think it's really quite cool. I feel like whenever I say cool I sound so uncool, but I think it's quite a cool name. I think it sounds quite quite modern and unusual, but traditional at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I would go for Wren. I just really like the name Wren. Question 7 is, what is your favourite colour inspired name? And again, I like quite a few coloured inspired names. I like Violet for a girl, but I think the one I would go for is Grey for a boy. I used to really like Grayson. Before we knew we were having a boy, if I had a boy, I always thought he would be called Grayson, but that has got really popular lately, so again that put me off a little bit. So I would just say Grey on its own, I really like. So yeah, I do like Violet, but I think I would go for Grey on that one. Question 8 is, what are your 3 favourite boys' names? Obviously I would say Wilf is my number 1 favourite. I really like Franklin and I really like Joseph at the moment. There are tons I like. I also really love Dexter, but I would say my top 3 at this moment in time are Wilf, Franklin and Joseph. And question 9 is the same, but what are your 3 favourite girls' names? And obviously, as I've mentioned, that would be Primrose, Delilah, and it used to be Olive, and I do still really like Olive, but I'm also absolutely loving Mabel at the moment. That is creeping on up there for me. I really do like Mabel, so I'd probably say at the moment Primrose, Delilah or Mabel. Question 10 is what is your favourite celebrity baby name? And I did actually do a whole video on celebrity baby names, so that will be linked down below. But my favourite is probably what Jamie Oliver and Jules Oliver called their little boy, and that is River. I love the name River, but I almost prefer it for a girl than for a boy. I really like it for either gender. I just really like the name River. Again, it's nature inspired, but I really like River for a girl or a boy. Question 11 is what is your ultimate guilty pleasure name? And I would probably say that would be Ezra. I love the name Ezra, but I'm not gonna lie, I like it because I heard it in Pretty Little Liars. I don't think I'd really heard the name Ezra before Pretty Little Liars, and again, that's getting super popular now. But Andrew would never let me use a name that was a character from Pretty Little Liars. So as much as I love the name Ezra, and that is probably one of my favourite boys' names, it's like increasing popularity, and the fact it's from Pretty Little Liars does put me off a little bit. Question 12 is what are your most hated baby names? And saying hated is quite strong, I feel. I think you really have to put a lot of energy into something to hate it. So I would not say I like hate any baby names particularly. But names I'm not keen on, and again, please don't be offended if you like these names or have used these names or it's your name. It's just my taste. These aren't something I would ever use, and it is the like super modern, quite new names. As I mentioned, I tend to go for like quite traditional names, but I'm not keen on trying to think of an example. Names like Chanel, like Mercedes, like named after things, like that's quite a modern thing to do, is to like, I don't know, I just think it's a little bit tacky. I'm so sorry if that is one of your names, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's just not my favourite if I'm honest. Question 13 is choose a baby name based on a food or drink, and I would definitely go Olive there. As I've already mentioned, that is one of my favourite girls' names, and I also really enjoy eating an olive, so I would definitely say Olive. Question 14 is choose a baby name based on a month, and I would either go for January. I would never be cool enough to use the name January, but the actress January Jones, I just think that is such a cool name, January Jones. Like January Cotter would sound absolutely appalling, but I think if your surname's Jones, jump on that, because I think January Jones sounds so cool for a little girl. But I also like August for a boy, just shortened to Gus, I think is really cute. So yeah, I would say January or August. Question 15 is choose a baby name based on a movie, and I've got two answers for this one. So the obvious one would be Primrose. I sound like a stuck record, I've mentioned that name so much, but I do love the name Primrose, and obviously there is a Primrose in the Hunger Games, Primrose Everdeen. So I would go for that, or I would also go for Juno from the film Juno. I really like Juno for a girl, and I guess you could also maybe use that for the question based on a month, Juno. I don't know, but I really like Juno for a girl. And the final question is question 16, and it is choose a name that is already in your family. I actually think I'm a family of like really cool names. I've got like some really cool names in my family, like we've got a Leo, we've got an Arthur, like we've got some really cool names in our family that have all kind of come back in recently and become really popular again. So yeah, and obviously I love what Abby called her. She's got a Lily and an Archer, and I love both of those. But I would say the two that are probably my favourites are two of my girl cousins, and that is Molly. I love the name Molly. I think it is so pretty, so girly, and it's quite traditional, but it's not one you hear a lot. So I really like Molly, and the other one I really like is the name Flora. I've got a cousin called Flora. And yeah, I love like nature, floral, flowery names, and it doesn't get more floral than Flora. So yeah, I would go for Molly or Flora for that one. And that is the end of this tag video. So yeah, I will tag a couple of people to do this. They might have already done it, I'm not sure. I'll tag Abby, obviously, from Lily Pad and Bow. I will tag Amy, Amy Lee, and I will tag Karen from Our Irish Family. I will link their channels below. And yeah, I will leave it there and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys!